Hi, I'm Warren Eley with Eley Hose Reels, and I'm going to demonstrate the assembly procedure for our garden hose reels. Now, every hose reel comes with a very detailed step-by-step instruction manual. Don't be intimidated by the number of pages or the number of steps. The assembly process really isn't that bad. It doesn't matter if you're mechanically inclined or not, you'll be able to put this hose reel together. Having said that, let's get started. The first step is to put the two flange pieces together. The hose reel flange and drum assembly consists of two main components, the front flange and the back flange. The front flange is the one that has the large opening in the flange and also the extruded base for attaching the crank handle. It has three holes for aligning it with the back flange, a square hole for the hose strap bolt, and two pins or cones for aligning it with the back flange. The back flange has 4 cage nuts and 2 sockets for receiving the pins on the front flange. The 3 equidistant cage nuts are for attaching the two flange pieces together, and the 4th cage nut is for attaching the hose strap in a later step. Align the pins from the front flange with the sockets on the back flange and nest the two pieces together. Attach the two flange pieces using the 3 screws provided. While threading them into the cage nuts, there will be a little bit of play. That is normal. Don't fully tighten them down until you get all 3 screws started. Once all 3 screws are started, then make sure you tighten all 3 down firmly. However, be careful not to over tighten. Now it's time to attach the crank handle. Using the hex key wrench provided, remove the pre-installed screw from the crank handle center post. With the front flange facing up, insert the crank handle post into the extruded base from above and insert the screw from below. Thread the screw into the handle. Using the hex key wrench, be sure to tighten down firmly. The next step is to attach the arm to the wall plate. The first thing to do is remove these 2 screws from the arm. Using the large end of the hex key wrench, loosen the 2 screws. Then you should be able to remove them with your fingers. Next, you'll need to decide whether you want to attach the arm for parallel mounting or flip it around and attach it for perpendicular mounting. To attach the arm to the wall plate, take the 2 screws you just removed, feed them through the back side of the wall plate, and thread them into the arm. Don't tighten the first one down until you have the second one started. Then grab your hex key wrench and tighten both screws down firmly. When mounting to a wall, the first thing you'll need to do is determine at what height you want to mount the hose reel, whether it's the perpendicular configuration or the parallel. Once you determine the desired height, make a mark on the wall in line with the top left corner of the wall plate. Now you need to find the wood stud that you'll use for attaching the left side of the wall plate. Using a stud finder, locate the outside edges of the stud. The center of the stud should be in the middle of the edges found by your stud finder. The next step is to drill a pilot hole for the top left mounting hole using an 1/8 inch wood bit. Using masking tape, mark the drill bit at 1.5 inches to let you know when you've reached that depth. Next, drill a pilot hole on the mark. You'll only need to drill deep enough until you reach the masking tape. If you're mounting to lap siding, you'll need to make sure you place one of the spacers provided between the wall plate and the siding for each lag screw. For the perpendicular configuration, attach the wall plate in this position for right-handed rewinding. For left-hand rewinding, you'll want to flip it over and mount it in this position. For the parallel mounting, it doesn't matter. You can set the reel up for either left or right-hand rewinding regardless of which side the arm is attached. Using a 7/16 socket on either a socket wrench or a cordless drill, install the top left lag screw through the wall plate into the pilot hole. Tighten to just snug, not firm, so you can still maneuver the wall plate. With the first lag screw in place, set a level across the top of the wall plate. Once the wall plate is level, mark the other 3 holes. The holes are spaced horizontally for 16-inch stud walls. Then go ahead and drill the other 3 pilot holes. Now you can install the remaining 3 lag screws. If using a cordless drill, be careful not to over tighten. Tighten to just a snug fit. To tighten the lag screws down firmly, we recommend using a socket wrench instead of a power drill. This will allow you to manually feel the lag screw tighten down and prevent over-tightening and stripping out the wood with a power drill. Take the male end of the inlet hose and feed it through the axle from the back side until it just shows out the front. Then take the flange and drum assembly and slide it onto the axle, pushing it all the way on. Next, install the cam lever brake by making sure the tab on the brake aligns with the notch in the front flange. Then, pull a little bit more of the inlet hose through the axle so you can attach the brass swivel. Hand tighten firmly. You can use a pair of pliers if you want to secure the connection more firmly. This aluminum collar threads onto this axle. Push the inlet hose back into the axle so you can thread the swivel onto the axle. Now it's time to install the garden hose. From the female end of your garden hose, measure 32 inches and mark that spot on the hose. Place the grommet hose strap over the hose at that spot and insert the hose strap into the rectangular opening in the front flange. Make sure that the flat washer is on the long hose strap screw. Insert the screw through the grommets and begin threading into the remaining cage nut. Use the hex key wrench to tighten the screw into the flange until the hose strap snugs down onto the hose. It may take around 25 to 30 rotations to tighten the strap until snug. It is very important not to over-tighten as you could damage the cage nut. The kink-free spring has a narrow end and a wider flared end. Insert the narrow end into the female fitting of your garden hose. Then feed the hose through the large opening in the front flange and curve it back to the brass swivel. Thread the hose onto the swivel and tighten firmly. Well, there you go. Your hose reel assembly and installation are now complete. If you need any assistance or have any questions, you can visit our website 24/7 or reach out to our customer support team during our regular business hours. Thanks again for your purchase of Eley products. We hope you enjoy them for many years to come.